Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a former instructor in medicine at Harvard and a graduate of Yale School of Medicine. She wrote her book, Eat Everything, after her own physical battle. We welcome author Dawn Harris Shirling.
Hi, good morning.
Dr. Shirling, let's go beyond the mic. Americans suffer from high levels of diabetes and obesity, and millions suffer from digestive disorders. How did your own battle with IBS inspire you to help others?
Well, I was the doctor and I became the patient. I started struggling with the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome shortly after having my second child. And I attribute it just to my body changing, and I was going to have to deal with all the discomfort and craziness that my patients had to deal with. I tried doing the things I had told my patients to do, tried restricting certain foods like gluten, doing something called a low FODMAP diet, which is incredibly hard to follow. And I wasn't really getting any better until I took a trip to Italy with my family and was fine there. And this is a story subsequently that I got to hear a lot from people when they travel to other countries, especially those countries that focus on whole foods and less ultra processed foods. People seem to feel a lot better. They don't gain weight. Their bowel issues go away. Their sugar is easier to control. And I said, well, wait a minute. What's going on with the food in the United States such that so many of us are dealing with all of these health issues? I did a deep dive into the published literature and saw that a lot of research was coming out kind of fast and furious at the time. And I just wanted to come and tell everyone about it.
It's easy to buy processed food in the supermarket, but how hard is it to get the fresh foods like you could get in Italy?
When I was in Italy, it wasn't hard at all because that's part of their culture. And so it's easy to get fresh food that's grown nearby. In the US, it is a little bit harder, but it becomes a lot easier with a little practice at doing it. I hear a lot of people say, oh, we can't walk this back. We're too dependent on ultra-processed foods. It's 60% of the standard American diet, and there's no way we can turn it back. Well, there is a way to turn it back. And the positive reinforcement from making those changes comes really quickly. Within 24 to 48 hours, if people start eating a more whole foods-based diet, they feel a lot better. Their guts feel a lot better. My patients with blood sugar issues, within weeks to months, their labs are improving. And so once you get that positive feedback from your body, from your lab results, it's kind of hard to stop. So yes, starting a change can be challenging. And the way to do that is change one thing at a time. Decide today, I'm not going to have the ultra processed dressing in a bottle. I'm going to take 2 minutes and make it myself. Decide that you're going to shred your own cheese the next day. The day after that, decide you're going to look at the ingredients on your yogurt and pick a yogurt that doesn't have all the ultra processed ingredients in it. If we do it bit by bit, we can absolutely walk this back. We can reclaim our health.
After starting on your first book, you put it off for years due to life. How did switching from a journalist to a doctor's perspective help you write Not Quite Dead?
That is a great question. I actually started Not Quite Dead. That's my fictional book. Eat Everything is the book that just came out last Tuesday, and that's the diet book. I wrote a medical mystery called Not Quite Dead. When I was a resident, I was in training up at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. And I actually had some time in my third year to pursue outside interests. And coming from a journalism background, I always loved writing, and that was my outlet. And residency training can be incredibly intense and difficult. And I decided to let out some of those emotions through my writing. And I did write a medical mystery called Not Quite Dead.
My personal favorite from the recipe section was the salmon with bruschetta topping. What's your go-to dish?
I would have to say all of those are dishes that we love to make in my house. But the one that I make the most often is the homemade granola because my family loves it. Breakfast cereals are something that look like they're supposed to be healthy. They say organic and natural and whole grain, and they're not good for us. They're not healthy for us. When a patient of mine with diabetes comes to the office and tells me that they're eating a raisin bran and they think they're doing the right thing and their blood sugars are out of control, and this is not the right thing. We're not doing the right things for ourselves when we're eating these ultra processed products. So I like to make the granola because it's easy, and I like anything easy, right? If it's too hard, I'm not going to do it. So make the granola. We do it about once a week in my house, and it's gone within days. It's a very popular item in my home.
Author Dawn Harris Shirling joins us beyond the mic for The Rocking 8. 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Dr. Shirling, there is no pressure. You met your husband during your residencies. Other than being sleep deprived, what was the one thing that caught your eye about him?
We actually met at a dance. He can dance.
Very nice. So what's your go-to fruit and veggie?
Fruit, I would have to say blueberries. Veggie, I would have to say carrots.
Dr. Shirling, what's the most likely thing your daughter wants when she starts a sentence with, quote, "Can I get you anything else, beautiful birth giver," unquote?
Something from the makeup store.
Always the makeup store. What's your one food weakness?
Chocolate.
Isn't it always that?
Yeah, that's a boring answer, but that's the answer.
You almost changed your major to chemistry. What held you back?
I loved political science. I was actually a political science major and able to do all the pre-med stuff at the same time, so I stuck with it.
Dawn, what makes Daniel Silva such an inspiring writer for you? Or is it just his character, Gabriel alone?
I love Gabriel alone. He is just, everything I am in my alternative life that I haven't lived.
You once had a dream of a bookstore that also sold cookies. What would be the signature cookie in your bookstore?
Chocolate chip. Just classic chocolate chip is the best.
Now you're making me hungry. Biggest secret that some patients are unaware about medicine?
That doctors really do care. And sometimes we just don't have the time that we would like to have to spend with them, but that we think about them in our off hours, and we really do care a lot.
It's time for One Big Question with Dr. Dawn Harris Shirling beyond the mic. Her book is Eat Everything. Dawn, what are your expectations for healthcare in the future, and has it recovered from the strain of the pandemic?
That's a tough question. I think we haven't, unfortunately, recovered from the strain of the pandemic. There has been a lot of pressure on doctors, on nurses, on other healthcare professionals that unfortunately hasn't really let up. There are shortages, but I want to say I'm hopeful. I am hopeful with the new generation. I teach residents. I get to interact with them and medical students, and I am hopeful that there is new energy coming in and we can get better and better.
Doctors really do care about their patients. She loves chocolate and blueberries and wants you to read her book, Eat Everything. Dr. Dawn Harris Shirling, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you so much.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.